Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Metaphysical MGTOW Griffin Red. I want to wish you a happy new year. I hope your holiday season was enjoyable and restful. In this video, I'm going to be recommending to you um, a couple books that I had picked up last year, and they've enriched my life, and I would like to share them with you, and hopefully you can use the information as well to enrich your lives and the ones around you. Um, the first book I'm going to recommend to you is The Magical Cash Book by Damon Brand. Now, this book here, I have personally used the book myself. The magic in it does work. What it consists of, you'll be dealing with a entity who goes by the name of Nitika, which I believe is an angel. Um, you feel free to Google the name. It's N as in Nick, Itika. And this particular entity you'll be dealing with after you create your book, um, you'll be pretty much doing the ritual and pretty much working with this particular spiritual entity. As I said again, I've gotten the book. Well, I purchased the book on Amazon, and I followed the instructions to create my own magical cash book, which you will be doing. And I've actually, worked with Nitika, and yes, this spiritual entity will listen to you, and the magic works. So if you really don't have any hangups and you're pretty open minded about things and you don't have any fears of the occult or whatever, I recommend that you pick this book up. It's a personal recommendation. I have literally used this book and have have had money come from unexpected places. So, brothers, this is a book that I recommend to you. And as an added bonus, your magical cash book, once you follow the instructions, is going to look something like this. It has all the sigils and signs and things of that nature inside the book that you need. Um, this is how this is how my magical cash book looks. Show you the other side. It's orange on the other, and these are sigils, which are ancient signs or ancient um, drawing symbols that work with several entities. As far as angels, you can work with demons if you like. And before I go on, let me explain something to you about demons. If you grew up in a Christian household like I have, you've been told that demons are evil and all the angels are good or whatever. That's not necessarily the case in ancient cultures. You've had benevolent demons that have worked with humanity and helped them as well as you have shady ass angels. Hey, it is what it is. And I pondered this, man, because here in Western society, we have a lot of the stuff that we are taught, or in our society, and the way it operates, a lot of it is really ass backwards. Have you noticed that? They tell you up is down and good is bad, and um, two plus two is five, and all kinds of silly nonsense. So I would advise you to look into these things as far as different spiritual entities, because I do believe that they do exist, and you can work with them. They're not all. Yes, they have some malevolent ones that will bring you harm or whatnot, but the books that I recommend, they will tell you exactly how to deal with them safely. You really don't have anything to worry about, especially like Nitika. That's one of the more benevolent spiritual entities. As I said, I've worked with Nitika, and I've he's brought money into my life. Now, the next book I'm going to recommend to you, it really has changed my perspective on basically life in general, and I will say this: it will hurt the feelings of a lot of Christians out there. So I'm just going to say this: when you read this next following book, I'm going to recommend you have got to set aside everything you've been taught and things of that nature, and just you have to sit down and read it. It really resonated with me, and it really changed my perspective on pretty much everything on how I looked at life and this pretty much this existence. I will be providing a link to where you can get this book. Actually, this book is free. It's in a PDF format, and it's only 121 pages, I believe. But when you get the time to do it, I would advise you to sit down and to read this particular book. Leave your comments below, and who knows? I would like maybe like have a group discussion in the comment section about the contents of this book. And the name of this book is, I had it printed up in 3D format. It's called The Forbidden Religion. And in The Forbidden Religion, it talks about what is called primordial gnosis. It goes into great detail about how this existence, this 3D existence that we live in, is actually is actually called pretty much hell. And the so-called Most High, Yahweh, and it's like El Shaddai or whatever, that you black Christians and delusional Christians worship is actually evil. He's like a sadistic bastard. I mean, when you look at our existence, you see that even in the animal kingdom, and look how humanity treats each other. I've always questioned this. I'm like, well, how is it that this loving, benevolent God can create all this stuff and have evil in it, and not do anything about it? And what really got me to question Christianity as I got older, it's like, okay, I'm this omnipotent being, and I'm going to create this allegedly perfect creation, and I'm going to create an adversary to test my creation. I mean, what kind of crap is that? And I'm going to create my creation, the human or whatnot, with and high sexual impulses, with the ability to want to have sex. Yeah, humans, we are very sexual creatures, and then condemn them to a fiery place of torment for eternity for acting on those impulses out of alleged wedlock. What kind of God is that? What kind of God would do something like that, and have some place where I stick you, I'm gonna stick you there for eternity. You gonna burn forever, and if you kiss my ass, you know, you bow down on your knees and you worship me, then you get to come up to heaven with me. I never understood that. Never understood that. You know, so like I said, that particular book, The Forbidden Religion, I highly recommend that you read it. Um, because I guess it really goes into depth into I guess some parts of the Bible about it talks about Cain and Abel. Um, it talks about the serpent, how the serpent was actually the good guy because the serpent awakened Adam and Eve to to knowledge, and I guess Yahweh was pissed about that because Yahweh originally just wanted the humans to be some sort of slaves or robots, and people talk about, especially the Christians, they'll put down or demonize the being called Lucifer, and when you Lucifer actually means bringer of light, and light is knowledge. And when you go through the Bible, especially the Old Testament, I'm gonna leave a link in the description box. It's called the Evil Bible, and look through that, and you will see how this God Yahweh condones sacrifices, um, the murder of children, the raping of women. All that stuff is in the Bible, but you never hear these black Christians talk about that. And if you speak out against it, you's a heathen and you need the Holy Ghost. I say shut the fuck up. Okay. And I've noticed this too, man. Whenever it's like it's really hard to deal with a black Christian, especially if you're knowledgeable and you're awake. It's really hard to go back and deal with them because they're just so delusional and so stubborn. It's like you can't really, give them tell them about any kind of knowledge because they're gonna just flat out reject it. And I never understood that. That's why I really don't deal with too many black Christians because you can't talk to them and they run their life by this old ass book that's 2,000, that's 2,000 years old. All these different denominations of religions and everything, and you got to speak in tongues. And I've dealt with especially these Pentecostals. They call them oneness Pentecostals. A more traditional name would be, or a more common would be Apostolic Pentecostals, and they believe you have to speak in tongues in order to be saved and everything like that. So I've dealt with them from childhood on up, and I never got in with the Pentecostal speaking in tongues thing because I'm not about to get up in front of the congregation, run around, jump up and down, and jerk my head and lay on the floor and foam at the mouth um, for some Jesus. This guy is supposed to be a civilized guy, and he wants you got to do all that in order to be saved? Come on now. Well, this is going to conclude this video. I'm going to be doing maybe a couple more videos about the Hopi prophecy of the blue and red Kachina. I advise you to look into that, as I believe it coincides with a lot of the events that's happening now. And they actually the Hopis have had actually a prophecy on black people. It stated the black race would have two uprisings. One would be nonviolent, which would be the civil rights movement, and there's going to be a second, more violent uprising. And it says that is the one that's going to free black people. I'll leave this link in the description box. Once again, this is the Metaphysical MGTOW Griffin Red. I urge you to pick up the books that I recommended to you, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.